Hi everyone, my name is Andreas Steinross and I'm here to promote critical thinking. If we all properly learn how to think for ourselves, if we all learn to apply to the very best of our capabilities, our logic, creativity, imagination, integrity, morals, dignity, and authenticity, well, these are all huge, gigantic tools for self-empowerment. And self-empowerment means being able to make our dreams come true. And I was taught a long time ago to dream big, to question everything, especially authority. We're here to co-create our own reality, to make our own show. There are many sides to every story, many different angles reflecting from the same mirror. So I'm suggesting that we pay close attention to all of these different angles. The globalists only want us to know their side of the story. And that is the one the mainstream media is painting a picture of. It appears that the goal of the mainstream media is to install fear, anger, hatred, and doubt within us, which of course are all low frequency vibrations. These low frequency vibrations keep us asleep, perpetuate separation, the gross levels of competition, and the dog-eat-dog mentality, which are all overwhelming here on our planet. The globalists are using these low frequency vibrations to divide and conquer us. They have a firm grasp on how to play with our emotions and how to use our emotions to their advantage. But the beautiful thing about all this misinformation is the fact that the truth is always true, no matter how much anybody manipulates it. And we can always hope that the truth will eventually come out one day. If we start to view life from many different angles, many different thoughts and ideas, many different opinions and perspectives, if we can take in as much information as possible, process this information with critical thinking, then we can begin to think for ourselves. There are many great people out there who have a lot of excellent things to say, or to put it another way, are telling us the other side of the story. I don't always agree with what these people have to say, but at least they are expressing their views and opinions, are telling us another angle of the story. If you want to do your own research and find out some different angles of the story, some different perspectives, then I recommend you check out some of the following. John Rappaport of the No More Fake News, Mike Adams of the Natural News, Abby Martin, Brian Young of High Impact Flicks, Sonia of the Truther Girls, Lorraine Southern, Luke Rudkowski, Alex Jones, Noam Chomsky, Peter Joseph of the Zeitgeist Movement, Jacques Fresco of the Venus Project, David Icke, Jeff Hayes Films. Dr. Mercola has an outstanding website on holistic and naturopathic healing. Vani Hari, the Food Babe, Dr. Kelly Brogan, Cheryl Atkinson, who was a CBS reporter and has the insight on how the mainstream media operates, the movie Vaxxed, Dr. William Thompson, the CDC whistleblower. There are excellent webinars by Ty Bolliner titled The Truth About Cancer, and has several bits of advice on how to deal with cancer. Russell Brand. Naomi Klein has several excellent books out, and of course Dr. David Suzuki, who has forever been bringing in awareness about our planet and Mother Earth. I'm a very enthusiastic outdoorsman, and for the past 40 years I've been doing a lot of mountaineering, ski mountaineering. I've had lots of different ski passes at several ski resorts, ice climbing, rock climbing, whitewater canoeing and kayaking, camping, fishing, and hiking. Just being out in the bush walking my dogs. I just absolutely love Mother Nature. And I don't want to see it get trashed, raped and pillaged, and for what? Money? I absolutely love Mother Nature. It's my play zone. It's my sanctuary. It's my sanctuary. It's where I go to get my groove and find my inner peace. And I don't want to see it get trashed. So that a fraction of 1% of the world's population can get outrageous profits from this, while the rest of us have to suffer for their consequences. So thank you very, very much, David, for being such a loud voice for Mother Earth. You rock, my brother. And here is a quote from George Carlin. Quote, "We humans here on this earth are like fleas on a dog. One good swim and one good shake and, well, problem solved." End quote. Mother Nature is perfection, and I am suggesting that we use Mother Nature as our blueprint for our everyday lives. Right now would be a good time to end all this insanity, all this chaos and havoc that we are creating for the name of huge corporate profits, so that the earth has the opportunity to heal itself, so that we as a society can help the earth to heal itself. Abundance is our natural state. There are enough natural resources on this planet to sustain everyone's life and well-being. Money is the root cause of preventing this from happening. Money always limits our abilities to evolve, to grow, and to move forward. Money limits us in resolving any social issues. There are no profits to be made in resolving any social problems. There should not be one single starving person on this planet, yet we have approximately 1 billion starving people on this planet, and a child dies approximately every 5 seconds from hunger and malnutrition. We are absolutely destroying our planet, our environment, and thus ourselves, all in the name of making huge corporate profits and to keep the consumption and production of goods and the money system rolling right along. We are in a constant state of war on this planet over our natural resources, with the most noticeable one being over oil. It appears that somebody doesn't want the petrodollar to be in any other currency. According to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, last year there was approximately $1.7 trillion spent on the war machine. Yet there is no money to feed the poor, no money to house the poor, no money to properly educate people in need, including those people in the prison system. No money for the average person to earn a decent wage. No money to properly clean up our environment and to maintain that cleanliness. Our natural resources are being mismanaged in the name of the economy. Our present energy production is making huge, gigantic profits, yet they have no money to solve all of their pollution problems. Under our current political system, we are allowed to vote for a party in which we feel will be best representing our interests. But then that's it. We have absolutely no say in the matter. We have no more say in anything. It appears that voting is nothing more than an illusion to pretend that we have some kind of say in how our country operates. Why is it that we the workers pay the majority of taxes in this country while the corporations pay virtually no tax at all? The larger the corporation, the more profits they make, the less taxes they pay. Up until 1974, the government used to borrow money from the Bank of Canada. If the Bank of Canada made any profit from these loans, they would give that money back to the federal, provincial, and municipal governments, thus creating interest-free loans. After 1974, The government now borrows money from the private banking sector and is paying hundreds of billions of dollars in interest fees. Can someone please give me a logical explanation as to why we the workers are paying hundreds of billions of dollars of these interest fees when this is unnecessary? And how does this actually benefit any of us? I might not know very much about economics, but I do know that if the government were to borrow money from the Bank of Canada at interest-free loans, this would be a way better deal than we're getting today. So you see, folks, doesn't matter who you vote for, the government always gets in. Since I've been a young kid, I've been asking, why aren't we allowed to vote on all of these critical, important decisions which has a direct impact on my well-being? Approximately 7 years ago here in Canada, we had a $57 billion surplus in our unemployment insurance funds. This stat is from the Global Research website. This money came from each and every single worker here in Canada contributing to the fund to ensure that we have some kind of income while being unemployed. Well, somebody in their wisdom decided to transfer the entire $57 billion to God only knows where that ended up. Just to add insult to injury, it is now considerably more difficult to be eligible for these funds, and they have greatly reduced the amount of weeks in which we can collect these funds. Now imagine if we had spent these funds on something logical and practical. In Venezuela, the government owns and operates the oil and gas industry, and up until 2016, the people paid 4.5 cents a liter for gasoline. Now, if our government would have taken that $57 billion surplus from our unemployment insurance funds and spent that money wisely, well, I'm estimating we could have easily built 7 oil refineries and 5 gas plants without having to borrow any money from the banks at all. And we too as Canadians could have enjoyed the luxury of only paying 4.5 cents a liter for gasoline. An even better solution for spending our money would be to take that $57 billion surplus from the unemployment insurance funds and use that money for research, development, and production of clean, renewable, and sustainable energy. This would be a huge, gigantic step forward in weaning us off the use of fossil fuels. And I imagine this would create lots and lots of new jobs. Oh, I don't know, maybe for our brothers and sisters that work in the oil and gas industry, or for any other industry for that matter. This is just one of multiple reasons why I want to say on all critical and important decisions. Why are we freely giving up our unique individual powers and letting the government make all the important decisions for us? I am the only person who knows what's very best for me. Therefore, I want to have a say what's going on and what will affect my well-being. As far as I'm concerned, the government can make as many proposals as they wish, but we the people should have the final say in the matter, and we should be voting on all of these proposals. One other thing that never ceases to amaze me is the fact, how come politicians are never held accountable for anything they ever say or do? I wonder who made that rule up. According to the Occupy movement, a fraction of 1% of the world's population has total control of our wealth and resources of our planet, while the other 99+% of us are nothing more than slaves to the money system. Welcome to modern day slavery, everyone. Here is a quote from Johann Goethe, quote, "The best slave is one who thinks he's free," end quote. Does this fraction of 1% even care about us? This sounds to me like we have a total lack of unity. Again, the people in charge of this planet are very successful at the divide and conquer concept. By giving up our unity, we're actually opening up the doors and allowing the corporations to stroll right in and push their corporate agenda on us all with very little, if any, opposition at all. Here's something I wrote down once but forgot to write down the source. So maybe someone out there can inform me of who I am quoting so that I can give credit to where credit is due. Quote, "Money is the prime motive for labor on this planet. If you want food, shelter, or clothing, you must have money. That's why you get up in the morning even if you hate your job. Money and the stuff it buys is a status of prestige and success, a form of social validation. Accumulation of money is therefore an accumulation of social and psychological power. Those who control the creation of money completely control this power." End quote. It is actually one big, fat, gigantic lie that consumerism, that materialistic consumerism will make you truly happy. Just look at a young child who has no money or any materialistic stuff at all, and just look at how happy they are. Bliss comes from following your passions. Bliss comes from following your heart song. Bliss comes from following the life force from within. One cannot talk about electrical energy without mentioning the name Nikola Tesla. He was one of the world's greatest inventors of all time, with some 300 patents. Here is a quote from the Waking Times website. Quote, "The most important inventions of Nikola Tesla. Number 1, AC power, alternating current. Number 2, light bulbs. Tesla developed and used fluorescent bulbs in his lab some 40 years before industry invented them. At the World's Fair, Tesla took glass tubes and bent them into famous scientists' names, in effect creating the world's first neon sign. However, it is the Tesla coil that might be the most impressive and controversial. The Tesla coil is certainly something that big industry would like to suppress. The concept that the Earth itself is a magnet and can generate electricity, electromagnetism, utilizing frequencies as a transmitter. All that is needed on the other end is a receiver, much like a radio. Invention number 3, X-rays. Number 4, the radio. Marconi was initially credited, and most people believe him to be the inventor of radio today. However, the Supreme Court overturned Marconi's patent in 1943 when it was proven that Tesla invented the radio years prior to Marconi. Number 5, remote control. Number 6, electric motors. Number 7, robotics. Number 8, lasers. Number 9 and 10, wireless communication and limitless free energy. These two are inextricably linked, as they were the last straw for the power elite. What good is energy if it can't be metered and controlled? Free energy? Never. J.P. Morgan backed Tesla with $150,000 to build a tower that would use natural frequencies of our universe to transmit data, including a wide range of information communicated through images, voice messages, and text. This represented the world's first wireless communication, but it also meant that aside from the cost of the tower itself, the universe was filled with free energy. that could be utilized to form a worldwide web connecting all people in all places, as well as allowing people to harness the free energy around them. Essentially, the zeros and ones of the universe are embedded in the fabric of existence for each of us to access as needed. Nikola Tesla was dedicated to empowering the individual to receive and transmit this data virtually free of charge. But we know the ending of that story, don't we? End quote. So I found a couple of Tesla's patents from the Nikola Tesla Universe website. Quote, U.S. patent number 685957, November 1901, apparatus for the utilization of radiant power, and U.S. patent number 685958, November 1901, the method of utilizing radiant power. End quote. So yes, Nikola Tesla did figure out how to harness the energy from the universe. And I'm pretty sure that you can't get a patent for your invention if your invention doesn't work. So, this arises a few questions. Who has the patent rights for this invention now? And why isn't society allowed to use this miraculous invention? There aren't even discussions about this invention yet, open to the public yet. Let's think about the implications of all of this for a moment. If we had free cosmic energy, then the energy industry would literally lose hundreds of billions of dollars in profits. Well, we can't have that happen now, can we? It's bad for business. It's bad for the economy. So you see, folks, it's the money system that is actually preventing us from using this technology. And I'm very curious on how many technologies are actually being suppressed from us. Here is a paraphrase from the Rex Research website. In 1930, a fellow named Charles Pogue invented a fuel vaporizing system that enabled vehicles to get astonishing fuel economy. U.S. patent number 1750354, March 1930. U.S. patent number 1997497, April 1935. And U.S. patent number 2026798, January 1936. In 1933, Charles Pogue made headlines when he drove a 1932 V8 Ford Coupe 200 miles on 1 gallon of gas at a demonstration conducted by the Ford Motor Company in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. In the late 1970s, another fellow named Tom Ogle also invented a gas vaporizing device. U.S. patent number 4177779, December 1979. Vaporizing gas creates more complete combustion, meaning more efficiency, less unburnt gas out the tailpipe, and a tremendous increase in miles per gallon. Tom used a 4,000-pound Ford Galaxy and drove 205 miles using 2 gallons of gasoline at an average speed of 60 miles per hour. End of paraphrase. So as a result of Charles Pogue and Tom Ogle's incredible inventions arises 3 questions. Who has the rights for these patents? Are the gas corporations actually suppressing this technology from us? And why isn't there one single car manufacturer out there that is building a vehicle with gas vaporizing unit? Another thing that I find extremely amazing is the fact that I drive a 2009 Toyota Tacoma and my truck gets approximately 20 miles per gallon. Well, in 1920, Henry Ford's cars got 20 miles to the gallon. So you globalists are trying to tell us that in 98 years and with today's technology, we can't even figure out how to get better gas mileage from our vehicles? I find this rather suspicious. I I wonder how many technologies are being suppressed from us because of the money system. I have 2 journeyman's trade certificates and 2 college diplomas. I've been through the school system, and I've always wondered why we have to go to college and university for such a long period of time. I can honestly say from my own experience that I learned approximately 75% of my career on the job. So why is it that they don't operate universities and colleges like they do apprenticeship programs? You work the majority of the year and you go to school for a small portion of the year. And what's up with all these kids who go to college and university only to get low-paying minimum wage jobs upon completion? Here is a stat from the U.S. News website. Quote, the number of college graduates working minimum wage jobs is nearly 71% higher than it was a decade ago. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics' latest figure, the cohort includes an estimated 30,000 people with master's degree. End quote. Yeah, it's a good thing these graduates have these low-paying, scraping the bottom of the barrel minimum wage jobs. At least they can pay back the tens of thousands of dollars they borrowed for their education. And this is good for the economy. This is good for business. And what's up with having to spend 13 years in the public school system? Yes, we need to learn to read and write and do math, but I'm pretty sure we can learn all of this in 3 years. Why do we have to go to school for so long? Why do we have to learn so much useless information? School is nothing more than a babysitting service so that we can all go to work. School is nothing more than an indoctrination system to produce good little obedient worker slaves. Good little conformists. Good little workers who don't question anything and are really, really good at doing what they're told to do. Why don't they teach kids how to question everything, especially authority? Why don't they teach kids how to deal with their emotional and nervous systems? Why don't they teach kids proper creativity, logic, and imagination? Why don't they teach kids how to think for themselves? I wonder why they don't teach us any of this intelligence at all. I wonder. Yeah, let's get the state to raise our kids. After all, the state knows far better how to raise our children than we as parents know. Here is a quote from the Live Science website. Quote, it sounds like a complaint of a jaded adult. Kids these days are narrow-minded and just not as creative as they used to be. But researchers say they are finding exactly that. In a 2010 study, about 300,000 creativity tests going back to 1970s, Kyung Hee Kim, a creativity researcher at the College of William and Mary, found creativity has decreased among American children. Since 1970, children have become less able to produce unique and unusual ideas. They are less humorous, less imaginative, and less able to elaborate on ideas. Kim said, has modern society really extinguished the creative spark amongst our youth? Experts say creativity is innate, so it can't really be lost, but it needs to be nurtured. The focus on testing in schools and the idea that there is only one right answer to a question may be hampering development of creativity amongst kids. Bagetto said, there is not much room for unexpected, novel, divergent thought. End quote. Here is a quote from the Thrive movement. Quote, the current American school system took root around the turn of the century. In 1903, John D. Rockefeller founded the General Education Board, which provided major funding for schools across the country and was especially active in promoting the state-controlled public school system. The General Education Board was not interested in encouraging critical thinking. Rather, its focus was organizing children and creating reliable, predictable, and obedient citizens. The Rockefellers, along with other financial elite and their philanthropic organizations such as the Gates, Carnegies, and Vanderbilts, have been able to mold society by funding and pushing compulsory state school for the masses. End quote. I wonder why some of the wealthiest elitists on the planet created the public school system. I wonder. People over the years have told me school is really, really important. It teaches us intelligence and how to be smart. In which case I politely reply, if we're so smart, then why are we all slaves to the money system? If we are so smart, then why does poverty exist? If we are so smart, then why are there 1 billion starving people on this planet? If we were so smart, then why is there such a gigantic wage gap between the rich and the poor? And the most obvious proof, how come is it that 99+% of the world's population allows a fraction of 1% to be in charge of this planet? Just look at the job they're doing. Just look at the current state this planet is in. The human aspect of things have created a total cesspool, and we're all just standing around allowing this to happen. Come on, everyone. We're way smarter than this. School is nothing more than a babysitting service that teaches us very, very, very little self-empowerment. I strongly believe that self-empowerment, the individual internal powers, is one of the most important things we could be learning in life. And I don't think that anybody here today is qualified to teach us. Lao Tzu was a teacher. Mohammed was a teacher. Buddha was a teacher. Jesus was a teacher. And even if none of these fellas ever existed, well, at least the stories about them are teaching us self-empowerment. I have nothing against you teachers at all. You teachers are all innocent. I fully understand you have to follow a certain agenda, and if you don't follow that agenda, you would probably lose your jobs. It's the entire education system that I have a problem with. What drives a person to commit violent crimes? What drives a person to commit these pedophile crimes against innocent children? Well, my first guess would be these people have severe, extreme mental illnesses and have zero control over their emotional and nervous systems. So how come ain't anybody teaching us how to deal with this stuff so that this stuff doesn't even happen in the first place? And here's a question for all you Christians out there. Do we really want Jesus to show up with his cleanup crew? What do you think he might say if he showed up today? He might say, the human aspect of things has created a total cesspool on this planet. You are all living in total chaos and disharmony. You are all conducting your lives in an inappropriate fashion. Have you all forgotten how to care for the innocent? Didn't any of you pay attention to any of my teachings? And don't you think this would make the man rather upset with all of us? So how about we clean up this mess, get everything in order, take care of every last person, have a nice, respectable, and presentable planet, so when Jesus does show up, he can look around and say, excellent, you have learnt your life lessons. You are living your lives in an orderly fashion. There was more purpose for me dying on the cross. Don't you think that this would make the man extremely happy? And wouldn't it be showing him some well-deserved respect and gratitude? How about we as a society put our main focus on putting an end to poverty and violence? Life is a precious, wonderful, miraculous gift. Let's clean up this mess so that we can focus on enjoying more of it. So the way I see it, we have three basic problems here on this planet. I personally believe that separation is the main issue here. And the paradox and irony of all is the fact that we are unique individuals, yet are all connected as one. We have forgotten the fact that we're all connected to every living species on the planet and are also connected to this real world and to the non-physical reality. Oneness is our inherent truth of our universe. We are all connected to the unified field of awareness, to this collective consciousness we call humanity. This great forgetting seems to give us permission and justify us in committing the horrendous crimes against humanity and the environment which are happening all around us on a daily basis. The Mayan Code of Honor further confirms this oneness, and that is in Lakesh, which means I am another ourself. Another problem we have here on this planet is civil obedience. And this means conforming to everything we are told to do and not to question anything. It's not that we don't need authority or leadership here, but the problem here on this planet is whoever is in charge of our planet, well, they're all mentally insane. 7 billion of us are following the agenda of a bunch of crazy, lunatic psychopaths. And why do we even allow this to happen? Here is a quote from John Rappaport. Quote, "Civilization is organization. In its advanced stages, it's superorganization. Planner, analyst, major profit maker, and manipulators are devoted to systems which require populations to conform to these systems by fitting in. Devise a plan with 1 billion slots, and those slots ask for occupants. The occupants must comply." End quote. Thank you very much, John Rappaport. The third problem we have here on this planet is a lack of critical thinking, which is the root cause of the first two problems. Here is a quote from Noam Chomsky. Quote, "I try to encourage people to think for themselves, to question standard assumptions. Don't take assumptions for granted. Begin by taking a skeptical attitude towards anything that is conventional wisdom. Make it justify itself. It usually can't. Be willing to ask questions about what is taken for granted. Try to think things through for yourself." End quote. And here are a couple of quotes from Albert Einstein. Quote, "Two things are infinite, the universe and human stupidity." And I'm not quite sure about the universe. "Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learnt in school. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. The true sign of intelligence is not knowledge, but imagination. For knowledge is limited to all we now know and understand, while imagination embraces the entire world and all there ever will be to know and understand." And my personal favorite, "This world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but rather by those who just stand around and watch it happen." End quote. The globalists only want us to know their side of the story. We have been brainwashed for eons, and now is the time to act for ourselves. Now is the time more than ever to look at the big, overall, long-term picture. Now is the time to come into full realization of our unique individual internal powers so that we can contribute to the whole of humanity. Now is the time that we focus on what we have in common rather than fight over our differences. Let's throw all this crap out the door and start moving forth. Let's live our lives so that we all benefit. If we all look out for each other, if we all take care of each other, if we all show each other that we care and help each other out, if we all equally share the gifts, well, then we're all going to benefit from it. Then yes, we will benefit. And here are a couple of quotes from a couple of my favorite musicians, quoting Jimi Hendrix. Quote, "Yes, peace will prevail when the love of power is overcome by the power of love. And when I play my music, I just want everybody to see the colors." End quote. And here is a quote from Metallica from the song The Day That Never Comes. Quote, "Love is a 4-letter word and never spoken here. Love is a 4-letter word here in this prison. I suffer this no longer. I put an end to this I swear, this I swear, the sun will shine, this I swear." End quote. So you see, folks, yes, we can co-create our own reality through intelligent fearlessness, but we've just forgotten how to do it. So maybe we can all help each other to remember, to be whole in our roles for the whole. All right, ciao for now, my brothers and sisters. Peace be with us all. V for victory. In solidarity. United we stand, and together we rise. Thanks for listening, everyone.